Today on the program, we're talking about the efforts by the Yobe State government in advancing the interests of students and also helping their ambition to achieve academic excellence. And on the program to shed more light on this is the Executive Secretary of the Yobe State Scholarship Board, Dr. Abubakar Bukar Kagu. Welcome to the program, sir.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you.
Yes, let's talk about this very important sector in the education. Since the advent of the Governor Mai Mala Buni administration, what's new? What have you been able to do to ensure that, yes, indeed, this whole scholarship scheme is well run?
Well, let me start by saying that, like I always say, this is an institution that has been in existence for quite a long time. But then, on coming of His Excellency Honorable Mai Mala Buni, the first thing we decided to do was to expand the scope of what has been done. Historically, the Scholarship Board has been about bursaries and scholarship to students of Yobe indigenes of tertiary institutions across the country and beyond. But then we thought and we felt, since these bursaries and scholarships are investments, and wherever you're going to invest something, you have to really look at every component of that investment. We felt it is important that we look at scholarship beyond the mere payment of bursaries and scholarships. And that was the conversation we had with His Excellency, and he gave his nod that that's a good initiative, and that we should go ahead and see what we can do. And that was why, on assumption of office, the first thing I did was to gather the data of the entire students of tertiary institutions in Nigeria and abroad that are Yobe indigenes. And so far we have 38,000 of them across universities, polytechnics and colleges. Not only do we have their numbers, we also have their details, their names, the local governments they come from, the courses they're pursuing, disciplines, the colleges where they're studying, their guardians, their phone numbers, including their emails. These are very important records for us, because that's the only way you'll be able to understand and categorize and also cascade your strength, your weakness, areas that need intervention, areas that you need to put a lot of energy into, and how you can plan going into the future.
How has it been so far? I believe a lot of students have benefited, gotten bursaries and benefited from scholarships. But when you look at it on the what impact has it really made from the feedback you're getting? How has it really impacted on the students?
Let me say that at present, I have 106 students studying outside this country, and each of them is on a full scholarship. We pay their flights, we pay their tuition, we pay their accommodation. And these are, the better question of them, of course, are people that cannot afford to fend for all these expenses without the intervention of the Scholarships Board. So essentially, when you do that, you know what kind of impact it has on the students, and those that will aspire to be in schools in the future. And apart from that, here at home, we give bursaries, and that was one of the things we did recently. Immediately after this, after the COVID and students began to resume, His Excellency gave us the mandate to go ahead and pay outstanding scholarship of over 7,000 students, and it has really helped them to be able to resume. You know how the economy is now as a result of the pandemic and so many other things, and we are doing all of this with the support and encouragement of His Excellency, who has always been responsive to most of the legitimate demands that we make.
Okay, just recently, more than 200 students were given scholarships to travel to India to study, and of course, on the long run, it is believed that they will return to add value to the state in all sectors of the economy. Now, but what is the yardstick of choosing who gets what? Because you initially said people that cannot afford it, but are there other yardsticks you use in measuring?
Well, that's a very important question. This is a conception of His Excellency Governor Mai Mala Buni. And his plan was actually, let me take you back to history. The plan was to sponsor 700 students to go and study in areas of discipline that are most needed, particularly in a society that is now recovering from over a decade of crisis. But then looking at our economy here in the state, he felt we can start with 30% of that number, which is 233 students that we've now sponsored to go and study in India. But then, being a Democrat, I think he brought that notion of democracy into the whole system, because he strongly advised at the beginning of the selection exercise that this scholarship should cut across political wards, not even local government areas, like political wards. Each of the political wards in the state should be represented in this scholarship. So we called for applications from all the political wards, and then after calling for application, we had a lot of applicants, and then we subjected them to computer-based tests. Because of course you cannot invest in someone that you know cannot be able to pursue that discipline you want him to pursue. And after subjecting them to computer-based tests, they got their results, and then we selected based on their local governments and their political wards. And that is why for everyone that has seen the list of these students, for everyone that has attended the event of the farewell, you realize that many of them are from very poor backgrounds. But of course, when you have an exam like this, and when you say everybody should come and participate, you will of course have people that are not actually from poor backgrounds, but many of them were from very poor backgrounds. I could remember one of the students that I snapped a picture with. His dad lives in a small village just close to this city called Mesandari, and he's a herdsman, rearing cattle that are not even his own. His father was at the verge of tears when thanking me. I said, you should thank me, you should thank His Excellency, and you should also pray for him, for all of us, and for this nation. And we've received messages from, of course, so many of them. We've learned a lot from this. We've learned that if you give opportunities to everyone, you will unveil potentials that you don't expect. And we've seen this in the exams these boys had. Children from very remote parts of the state coming out of very beautiful marks. I was so impressed being a teacher. So these are some of the things that really touched my heart.
Okay, now that they are there, how do you monitor them to ensure that the